My name is Paul Anagnostopoulos. I am a painter in acrylic and oil. I'm currently in the Hunter College MFA program. This is my little private studio right on Canal Street in Tribeca. A lot of my paintings are based in this sort of exploration of mythological desire, longing, tragedy, and playing with this conflation of time and space from the ancient days to today, and sort of reinserting the sort of queerness and the melodrama back into sort of this history and this celebration. I use this male image because it's like sort of this Western epitome of beauty. Like the hero from Greek mythology is always like the smartest, he's the strongest, he's the bravest. And so sort of playing with this heightened masculine image and then sort of breaking it down and showing it in more intimate moments, showing it in more human moments, and sort of taking the divine and the godly and turning it back into human. I also pull a lot of the masculine images from wrestling competitions, gay erotica from like the 60s and 70s to reference the beginning of sort of the gay rights movement and how this sort of time reflects a lot of the tragedies from the ancient times and just like this beginning of this fight for our identity and acknowledging this perspective that's largely been erased. A lot of ancient sculptures, not many people know this, but they were all painted in super garish colors. They were not like pristine marble things. They were gilded. They were like really bright polychrome colors, like this super kitschy, ridiculous paint. I like to think of kitsch as this thing that's so loved and adored that everyone has to have it and have it mass produced. It's just like this thing that is the symbol of like adoration. A lot of the titles in my work come from pop music. It's super hyperbolic, it's super melodramatic. Like every night's the last night, you're the only one, this is all we have. And I like to sort of compare that to ancient tragedies and plays and how those moments were also super dramatic and used as a sort of form of mass-produced entertainment. I come from a Greek family and an Italian family, and my two grandmothers were super important to sort of my early understanding of art and history. My yaya had like all of these little Greek vases around that I would sit around and draw. And then my other grandmother had like pietà, like a little maquette, like souvenir above the sink. So I really learned about art history through these souvenirs and through like these super like really sweet nostalgic moments with them. Growing up as a kid, I played a lot on Windows 95 and video games, a lot of Nintendo growing up. So this sort of early introduction to imagery, everything was both sort of three-dimensional and flat at the same time. So there's this weird push-pull that happens between this 2D and 3D. So I'm really interested in this sort of flat but deep space and playing with flat lines, flat patterns, and sort of combining it with more sort of well-rendered objects or figures, sort of creating this sort of vibrational space, and there's this warmth there. I'm also influenced a lot by surrealism. They sort of did the same thing where there's this play with flatness and space and depth. A lot of the references or the stories or the symbols I use, they have personal significances. A lot of them will stand in for people in my life. And so I think a lot about, the way I use the moon in works, the way I use florals. It's always like a significance both personally and then there's sort of this more universal significance. My goal is for someone to sort of get another emotional connection. They may not have to understand everything I'm saying, but just the idea that they sort of feel that overall sort of mood or emotion or atmosphere and they bring whatever they want to it, I really like. It's exciting for these works to go out into the world. I mean, always at first, I'm a little bit too connected to the works because, I think about them so much, I work on them so much, and then they're done. And it's like, when I just make a painting, it's like my new baby that I just need to spend more time with. But then, sometimes I've had works go to shows I just finished like 2 days before the show opens. So like, I never get to know those kids, but it's fine, When I think of who my audience is, I'll meet someone who's really interested in my work, or someone will collect a work and it's like someone who I wasn't even really thinking about. I remember one of my favorite interactions was at my first solo show I had, and I remember going to the opening and this older woman just like walks in and she's like looking around at the work, and then she just like grabs her chest and she's just like, "Who broke your heart?" And I just I thought that was like the funniest thing, because this is someone from a different generation, a different time, but like still connecting very much to sort of what I'm saying or sort of what I'm expressing. And so I love that. It's nice for a painting to be in someone's home that they see and appreciate all the time. I've had people tell me that they get something new from the work, from spending time with it, and that's something else I really love to hear.